And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody from the East Coast to the West Coast, the South, and the North. Good morning, everybody. It is 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern, and we're here for another week of Business Solutions Saturday. And my guest this morning, Christelle Biiga, is from the West Coast, representing at 8 o'clock in the morning. So good morning to her. Good morning to the West Coast. We are going to get into another week of Business Solution Saturday. So this week we are focusing on how you can get your organization as a CEO, as a business leader, as an influential leader to align with purpose and vision in an organization. That is such a key to a successful organization, whether it be corporate America, whether it be the military, whether it be entrepreneurship. So without further ado, we're going to let Christelle introduce herself, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and let's get started.
Hi, Deborah. Good morning. I just woke up, so if my voice is sleepy, that's right. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So I'm Christelle Biiga. I'm originally from Cameroon. That's why you have this beautiful accent.
Love it.
Los Angeles, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So, anyways, I'm really happy to be here. I'm a coach. I'm a speaker. And alignment with it for me is a big thing. As you were mentioning, how to help organizations, align with their purpose and vision. This is my jam because without alignment, it's hard. It's not that it will not happen, but it will just make things harder because it's really important. That's why I take people through that journey to helping them really reconnect with. Some people will say their why, but I go a little bit deeper. I help them really make sure that even their why is theirs. Is it really what you want for your organization? Is it really what you want for your business or your company? What do you want? And from that place, making decisions. Because when you know for sure what you want, not what people want you to want, not what other people want, but really what you want, it's easier for you to communicate that because even people in your organization will feel your energy, will feel that you are behind the action you're trying to take, the decision you are making, and it's easier for them to follow that instead of them following somebody that is kind of wishy-washy or trying something because they saw someone else do the same. So I'm really happy to be here and I have my tea ready.
Yes. Good morning. What an amazing introduction. So I agree with you 100%. Any good organization, that vision and that purpose is like, why am I here? Why do I wake up every morning? Why do we come to work? Why do we have these specific tasks every single day? And it's like, it is so critical and so important for that CEO, that business leader, that person in charge to communicate that vision. So let's first start off with, what is your definition of vision for an organization?
Yes, a vision for me is just a final destination, right? As simple as that. Where are you going? Where are you taking your organization? Where are you taking your team to? They have to know. That's what the vision is. It's really like you have a map and you point a destination. You say, this is where we are going. This is clear. It's not like, let's just move on. It's just like you get in your car. I'm going somewhere nice. Where? Just somewhere nice. Can you even put that destination on your GPS? I don't think so. Right? So you need to know for sure, this is where I'm going. And that makes it way easier. It's easy for somebody in your team when they have that clear picture to say, hey, to get there, I know a shortcut. To get there, I know, a route that will save us 5 minutes. That's why it's so important for you first to know exactly where you're going and be able to communicate that to your team for them to have the same clear picture in their mind. It has to be so clear in their mind that they can describe that to anyone. And that also helps them connect with the vision. Because if it's only in your head, if you know where you are going, but they don't know, it's hard for them to follow you because they're like, where are we even going? Why are we even doing this? And I know that because I used to be a manager for an airline at LAX not long ago. I had to quit to do this. But, one of the things that was really helpful for me when I was a manager leading my team was to always communicate with them. And believe it, whenever they knew exactly what my vision was, what I was trying to create, they were so on board that sometimes I'll be like, wow, the motivation was different because they felt part of it. They felt like they're part of the journey. That's why it's so important for them to also align with your vision. And for them to align, they need to know what is the vision. It has to be that clear for them.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. So one of the business that we all know about, I was doing a little bit of research and I came across two companies. One was Apple, and I was watching a video and it showed clips of Steve Jobs from like the past 10, 20 years, back when Macintosh came out. And basically what it was exemplifying was how he repeatedly said, I want to make the best personalized computer in the world. And he continued to say that all the way up until he, passed away, of course. And then it was like they interviewed different employees for Apple, and they were like, what do you guys offer? And it's like, we make the best personalized computers in the world. And it was like they were all dedicated to the vision because they knew where they were going. Or like Nike as well. Nike's employees can tell you the entire history, how they started, is because they understood their vision, they understood all the different parts. So what advice do you have for business leaders who may have trouble with defining their vision? How can they actually, internalize it and make it clear for their employees?
The only reason why somebody will struggle with being clear with their vision or struggle with communicating that with their team is simply because they lost themselves somewhere. During their journey in creating the business or growing it, they lost themselves somewhere. We live in the world where there is so much noise. Everybody knows the best way to get there. Everybody. But the truth is, the best way for you is not the best way for me. So if I'm not connected with myself deep enough, aligned with myself to know that this is what I want, it's easy for me to finally end up wanting what you want, because I heard you being so passionate and clear with your vision that I buy into it. Ooh. And that's why I say losing yourself. We're talking about, you mentioned Apple, Steve Jobs. Imagine maybe somebody trying to also get into the business of creating computers, phones, and all the things Apple does, buying into Steve Jobs' vision. Wanting the same thing. I also want to create. That's not your vision. Exactly. That's Steve Jobs. And that's why it was so powerful, because it was his.
Yeah.
So if somebody's struggling to define their vision or share that with their organization, just ask to yourself, where did I lose myself? And go back within and just get clear on what it is that I want. If I didn't have to worry about what people will think, if I didn't have to worry about what people will say, if I didn't know what other people are doing, what will I do? Where will I want my business to be? What do I want to achieve? And from that place, when you get clear personally, it's easy for you to communicate because it's yours. It's easy to find the words to communicate that. And again, it's about the energy behind it. Your team will feel that passion behind it because it's yours. And you cannot be as passionate if it's not yours. If I'm buying into Deborah's vision, it's going to be different.
Exactly.
It can be great. Everybody is different in a perfect way, but you have to own who you are, own what you want, and go after it.
Exactly. And I think that's why we always stress that, that CEO, that business owner, self-care is so important, because if they are unable to, balance their life and balance work, have that clear balance, the entire organization is in shambles because they are not, stabilized. So I love how you said, if a CEO or business owner is unable to determine a vision for the organization, you first have to look at their self. That is very powerful. So, yes. So you do this. This is your job. What inspired you to step into this field? What problem did you see that you wanted to fix with helping others identify purpose and aligning with vision?
I wanted to save myself. It's that selfish.
That's
right?
Powerful. That's powerful. Yeah. Can you explain?
Yes. My job was great. I'm not like most entrepreneurs. I would tell you I hated my job. I hated my boss. That wasn't my story. I was working with a great company. My team was amazing. making good money. I was a manager. So yeah, I was in a good place. But something was missing. I didn't have the fire that I have now
Oh.
for that job. That was great, right? It was always exciting. You know, working at the airport, LAX,
Oh yeah.
it's
That's
something.
pretty
But
hectic there.
yeah, it was fun. It was really good,
I'm sure you
great.
met a lot of great people.
Yes, interesting people as well. Interesting.
Interesting.
So I finally connected because I was also in my personal development journey. So I finally realized that my calling in this world is to coach other people, to help people, because I knew from when I started remembering that's what you get when you do personal development journey. Maybe you have coaches and programs that take you back within to remember who you are. I started remembering things that I've forgotten. How I was a little girl walking on the street, seeing a complete stranger, and just wondering, is this person happy? So it mattered for me to see people happy from a young age. And then growing up, I was wondering, what is the best way to really lead people, to really impact them in a way that transforms their lives? And I would think, cliche, if I was Oprah. Oprah has so much power, so much influence that, oh my gosh, if I was just where she is, I would be able to share my message, and then I will go to sleep saying, there's only one Oprah, girl, quit it. But anyway, fast forward, when I remembered all those things about me, what I really wanted to do in this life, I knew the job I was doing, even though it was in customer service, wasn't really fulfilling that. So I stepped into the coaching world because it was the best place for me to help people in that sense.
Yes. Yes.
It was not an easy journey. That's why I said I was trying to save myself. I knew coaching is the best way to empower people, to support them in their journey, to hold space for them, to create a life that makes them happy. But it was also building a business. And that's a different story. It has nothing to do with this is what I want to do for people. You still have to run a business, which means you have to make money, right?
Absolutely.
So if not, it's a hobby. So, anyways, I started not knowing what I'm doing because
Okay.
I never had that type of business before. Yes, I had run some little things before, but it wasn't the same thing. So, of course, when you start something you have never done, the tendency is to do what other people are doing. And that's what they tell you. Just follow, what works for other people, because if it works, just do it. And I was
Exactly.
in programs that were telling me just do it this way because it has worked for me, has worked for thousands of my clients, it's going to work for you. And I tried, even though I didn't feel good about some things, some ways of doing things. They were great coaches, great programs, but some of the things, strategies and techniques I was learning there were not in alignment with who I am.
It wasn't unique to you.
Exactly. And I felt I was suffocating because I had no room to be me. And for me, it's a big thing to be able to be me because I'm a free spirit.
Exactly.
But then I never felt like it was okay to be me, to run my business how I wanted to run it. They always told me what to do. This is the way to get there. I use this path, and this is why I'm here where I am today. This is the path. This is the path. And it was a struggle, it was a pain until I finally met the perfect mentor that always made me remember that what I want is good enough and I am good enough. I can do it my way. So from that place of power, I decided, hey, let's stop this. What do I want? Right? What do I want? If I had a choice, if I wasn't afraid to fail, if I didn't worry about people asking me, what are you doing? Nobody does this way. Nobody is starting out the coaching business. Nobody does this. For instance, they told me, podcast is not for you. It's too early for you. You need this, you need that. And people never get on the phone with you just hearing you one time. And I will listen because they knew better, right? Because they have been in the business.
Better.
I didn't trust myself. I wasn't connected with myself. That's why I'm telling you that the alignment journey I'm teaching my client is a personal journey. It saved me. I was trying to save myself. That's how I cannot be the only one struggling this way. Because when you are not able to show up in this world who you really are, it's a struggle. It's a pain to be someone else. Even if it's 8 hours a day, it's a pain. You feel it. your whole being feels it and you feel heavy. That's why people will tell you it's a struggle. It's not. It's a struggle because you're fighting
You're
against
not
yourself.
seeing yourself.
Yeah, you are fighting maybe your inner being is telling you let's do it this way, but you have all these things in your head, but they told me it doesn't work that way, but they told me nobody does it like that. What are people going to say? I look crazy doing it my way, and what if I fail and I'm not even good? I don't even know what I'm doing. Who told you that? Trust yourself enough. And it was a personal journey for me to step into that in my power and be, hey, I'm good enough. And there is something in me that knows the answer. I had to remember that, yes, I'm a human being with a brain and all of that, but there is a divine part in me that sometimes tells me, take an umbrella, and I see it's sunny outside, and I'm like, that's crazy, it's sunny. And I go out and it starts raining. So what if I start listening to that voice and see what happens
Right.
in my business? And I started doing that. I decided, for instance, in February, I said, hey, I'm going to add speaking into my coaching business. And because I embodied that, I was so behind that new vision that few weeks later, I was already booked to speak on a stage in Las Vegas when I didn't even have a signature talk. I didn't even know what it was at the time I decided I wanted to do that. That's how powerful it is when you listen to yourself. No, nothing was qualifying me to become a speaker, but because I knew that little voice within me told me this is the next aligned action for you to take, and I trusted that, it happened. So that's my answer to your question. I was trying to save myself from the frustration of
Yeah.
trying to run my business like other people. And it didn't feel good to me all the time, but I was so scared and worried about what if it doesn't work. They know better. It was just me not trusting me, not being
Right.
connected to myself to know that, hey, I can do this my way and it will work, and it's working.
Yeah, no, I definitely admire that story, and that, running a business is a journey, and it's more so of a spiritual and emotional journey than an actual physical journey, and I agree with you 100%, listening to your intuition and just doing things the way that you were created to be, because in the long run, I just actually made a video last week. I was talking about something as simple as the hairstyle that I was wearing, or wearing a wig sometimes, and it was like, I a couple years ago, I would have never publicly said, "Oh, I wear wigs for my shows," and this week I decided not to. But you know how comfortable I feel this week and last week, just wearing my regular hair. I feel absolutely beautiful. And you're right. Some weeks I actually didn't want to wear a wig, and I was like, "Hey, this I feel super uncomfortable." So when you compare that to business, when you're making decisions and you're not listening to that thought in your mind because you haven't seen it done before, that's actually slowing your progression, because you were probably the one that was meant to do it the way that you see it in your mind. That's why we have individual visions. And I love how we just shift this conversation from a organization vision to an individual vision. So you, as a CEO, you wanted to operate your business the way that you saw it in your mind, and that's why you had challenges with receiving mentorship and coaching in the past. So how do you apply that to your current business? How do you help others to come aligned with their purpose and their vision with your coaching methodology?
Yeah. What I really help people to remember whenever I have, somebody reaching out, oh, I don't understand why I'm trying so hard. I've tried everything, because there are resources out there. They are great resources, great, amazing resources, but not all of them are for you.
For
You
you.
have to find yours. And how do you find yours? By getting out of your head and feeling. How do you feel about this strategy that sounds amazing? How do you feel about it? Do you really want to implement that in your business? So, for example, because I work with female coaches, we are all on Facebook. We see everybody wants to hit the 10K month mark. It's like the magic number in the coaching industry.
Yeah, isn't it?
10K month,
Yeah,
right? It's the
that's
magic
it.
number. It's like if you hit that mark, you made it.
Yeah,
Right?
right?
But you did it. But so I have tried so hard. That's the conversation I hear from clients. Don't understand. I've done all the things. And it resonates with me because I was that coach that tried so hard and so it worked for other people, but not for me, and
Right.
was frustrated and asking, what is wrong with me? Why is it not working for me? So what I just help them realize is that first, Get clear on what you want, not what you think you want, because it's easy again to hear everybody say 10K. You're like, maybe that's what my next goal should be, 10K more. Is it really what you want? Maybe you want less, maybe you want more. Maybe you want even something completely different. But go back within yourself, check with yourself, what do I really want? First step, get clear on that. And when you know what you want, it seems like a simple question, but the truth is we were so brainwashed from the really young age, especially women, to feel like what you want is not good enough because you women don't sit this way. You can't talk this loud. You can't laugh like that. What are you wearing?
Yes, yes.
Right? So we grow up wondering if our choices are good enough, wondering if what we desire in life is good enough. So again, as you said, entrepreneurship is your life journey. So you come also in your business wondering if what you really want is good enough. So you hide. You're afraid because you don't want to be judged. Don't want people to call you names like they used to call you when you wore something and they call you a slut. You don't want that. So you bury what you really want deep inside and you come up with some other things that feel safe for you to share that this is what I want. It feels safe. But is it really what you want? So let's go back there and get clear on that, what it is that I want. And if you know what you want, how do you want to do it? And people will sometimes tell me, I don't know, if I knew I would. No, you know. Because the truth is we have the answers within us. We have all the answers. And that's when you're saying it's a spiritual, personal, emotional journey. I'm really a lot into energy and reading even people, but I never give you the answers because I want you to remember that you have the answers within you. I just take you to the path to find those answers yourself, because that's a powerful place to come from, knowing that, remembering that I have the answers. And if I just trust myself for a second, if I just pay attention to what is coming up for me, I will definitely know what my next move is. I will not struggle to try to do something. I spoke with a lady a few months ago and I felt bad. She told me she has gone live on Facebook 3,000 times, zero sales. Does that mean Facebook doesn't work?
No, no, it's all about. Go ahead. I'll let you run the show.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Does that mean that whatever she was selling wasn't good enough? Not at
Nope.
all. But did she really want to promote her business, market herself that way? No, maybe she saw somebody share her story that it worked for her. I went live on Facebook, it worked. So she followed that path. But what if you had a choice? How would you want to run your business? How would you want to promote your business? How would you want to promote this offer you believe is so great and you don't understand why after promoting so much people are not buying? If you didn't know that other people sell on Facebook or Instagram, how would you want to sell? And you'll be interested to hear people say, I hate Facebook, I hate Instagram, I hate this. So why are you there?
You're hearing that other businesses are being successful that way.
Exactly. Why are you there? Okay, what do you want? If you hate those things, what is the thing that really feels good to you?
What do you enjoy doing the most? And that's probably the thing that's going to make sales because you're passionate about what you're doing. It's something that you actually like.
And people feel it. If people feel it, you can put that mask on and try to sound interesting. People feel that this woman hates being here. There's something. They will not be able probably to put the words into it, but they will feel like there is something off with this person. I don't know what. It seems like her offer is great, but I don't know. Because you're not really doing what you want. And that's really the journey that is important. Trust yourself. Remember that within you, there is something in you that knows exactly the next aligned action. There's a difference between taking massive action and taking aligned action, because you can take massive action in the wrong direction.
Yes.
All what that happens is burnout and frustration from why it's not working for me. But aligned action is coming from that place of how do I want to promote this offer? Hearing that little voice tell you, maybe just reach out to Deborah, and trusting that and reaching out to Deborah. Not getting into your head and being like, I don't know, what if she's expensive? What if, get out of your head and just trust. because the magic starts happening when you trust the craziest ideas that come into your mind when you want to do something. When you are wondering, how am I going to make it? Because that's a big question. How am I going to make this happen? The how doesn't matter. Just know this is what I want. And you believe me, the magic will start happening when all of a sudden you have that crazy thought coming up. And the one you want to say, no way. That's the one you wanted. I love to tell my clients every time you feel like throwing up before doing something, throw up and go do it.
That's
Throw
it.
up, go do it. It's just throwing up, right? Nobody's gonna die. Throw up and go
I
do
love
it.
that.
We are so much into our head, we forgot that we have some magic within us. We have the magic in us. And sometimes that magic will tell you, you saw that post the other day that Deborah did on Facebook. What did you think about that offer? I'm sure it's going to help you get to your next stop.
Exactly.
Right? Trust that. Don't try to figure things out on your own because we are in this together. The magic happens when you start listening, for taking those aligned action, the craziest one, in wondering, afraid, do it afraid. What are people going to say?
Do it afraid. Yes, that is so powerful. I love how you said there's a difference between making massive action and aligned action. And this morning when I got done my run, because I like take that time to do some thinking, and I was thinking the rest of 2020, I'm not going to just make moves. I'm going to make strategic moves. I'm not going to make quick moves, but strategic ones. And usually strategic ones take a little bit longer, but they're a lot more impactful. So can you explain a little bit more on your definition of massive action and aligned action?
Massive action for me is just trying to keep busy.
Exactly.
Waking up in the morning, doing all the things that, to just check the boxes. Yeah. That's massive action. They told you saw somebody that, because we are different. And that's what is really powerful. And that's why I love working with entrepreneurs, because it's the best way for you to discover who you really are. We are so different, and we have to remember that at any given moment. Even when I learned about human design, even the way we are made as human beings is different. For example, generators have more energy than projectors. Projectors are made to just work like 4 hours a day and have fun most of the time. Is it okay in this world to run like that? Even if you have a job, can you imagine telling your boss, okay, I just operate, this is the way I operate, only 4 hours, and the rest of the time let me go at the beach. So the world is not really created to allow people to be who they are. There is no room for that. You fit in the box and you follow the steps. So it's important for you to remember who you are. So taking massive action is doing the things you think you should do. Okay, I have to wake up. I remember I was in one of the programs at the beginning, the powerful man, if I give you the name, you will know him, so I will not. So he was like, you cannot become successful if you are not in front of a customer at 9 a.m. in the morning to make a sale. And I'm not a morning person. We discussed about that. So
I'm not a morning person either.
Imagine me in that program feeling bad about myself. What is wrong with you? Why can't you, be ready to go at 9 a.m. in the morning? Feeling bad. So feeling like there is something wrong with me that I need to fix.
Because you weren't energized in the morning, right?
Exactly. Right. So if I get into the massive action mode, I will set my alarm on and then be there, do the thing, be at 9 o'clock, start trying to call people or reach out to Messenger.
You're still tired at that point. Like you're still not 100% at your, highest potential because you're tired.
Exactly. And people know this woman even hates being there on the phone right now with me. So I'm taking massive action. I'm doing the things. They told me this is the way. I'm doing the things. They told me you have to go live on Facebook. I'm going live on Facebook. I'm going to commit to this and then stick to that. That's taking massive action.
Exactly.
Doing the things, having your checklist, this, being exhausted. The exhaustion is not because it's so hard to run your business. It's not. When you're doing the things you love, you don't even feel tired. So if you feel exhausted and frustrated and like, oh, why is it not happening?
Wow, I love that.
Ask to yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Because if you now the difference with massive action, which is trying to feel good about yourself. I did all the things they told me I should do. I did all of them. I checked all the boxes. You took massive action, but what is the result? That's what a lot of your strategic moves. Because differently, someone else will be connected with themselves, connected with the magic within them, and the day they will wake up and feel like, today, let's go to the beach. They will follow that. It's crazy, right? You're running a business. What are you doing? How can you go spend the day at the beach? It's Tuesday. It's okay. I'm going to the beach anyway because that's how I feel like. You go to the beach, and when you come back, you have PayPal notification that people bought something you don't even remember you posted on Facebook. That's how the magic happens.
That's very true.
But if you are in the massive action mode, you'll be like, no, this is Tuesday, Saturday, I will go to the beach, but today I have to post this again on Facebook. I have to send this many emails to my list. I have to do this. I have to do that. You're taking massive action. But the magic lies within the aligned action, the strategy moves, as you're saying. I'm not just walking because I have a calendar I have a checklist to fulfill, but I'm listening, trusting myself because I know what is good for me, for my business, more than anyone else. So if today I feel like going to the beach, I'm trusting that. It sounds crazy that as a business owner on a Tuesday, I'm going to spend my day at the beach. It's crazy, right?
But it's okay. Yeah.
But it feels like my next aligned thing to do. So let me go just do it. Exactly. And you wonder, and I hear that so many times. I just had a day with my kids. I was just having fun and somebody bought into my program. But some people will spend the day in front of their computer getting frustrated and nothing is happening.
Exactly.
Trying to call people to sell them to something, and everybody's saying no, 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 no.
Exactly. I really love how you said, hey, if I feel like going to the beach today, I'm going to go to the beach. And it's like, sometimes that is needed. You have to take breaks. You have to stay energized. And I also love the note where you said, if you're feeling exhausted and frustrated with your business, it is probably because you're not aligned. Because when you're doing what you love, you're never tired. You love it. It doesn't drain you. Other than, maybe some issues with your business or unexpected challenges, but that's only temporary. And since you stepping from your previous job to entrepreneurship, have you felt any frustration or exhaustion? Or did you know that you were doing exactly what you were meant to do? Because it was
I used to feel that way when I was explaining that at the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing. I was following all the things that they were telling me.
Got it.
So that's when it felt heavy for me. And I felt so terrible about myself that because some of the things they were asking or teaching to do there, other people felt good about them, but they just didn't sit well with me. But I was forcing myself to do those things because the coach was so powerful, so successful that it was like, what is wrong with you, Christelle? Why can't you just do it? And that's the trap we have to pay attention that we're not falling into.
That's powerful.
Yes. Don't get into the conversation of not feeling good enough. And it's so easy to fall into that conversation by trying so hard to become someone else and not being able to, because you will never be someone else. And what is the result? You feeling like, what is wrong with me? And I was there. That's when it was feeling so hard. Because pushing yourself, you can try one day or 1 week, but for a month, you'll be like, this is horrible. Is this really how it's going to be? Do I really have to do these things? Like, is this the only way? Oh my God. Now that I'm not able to do that because that's just not me. So I'm never gonna make it. So I'm a failure.
You are speaking so much truth today, and it's so inspirational because so many people give up. So many entrepreneurs give up. So many CEOs become, let's talk about it. They become suicidal, right? Because they're not meeting the mark. They're their definition of what success looks like, and they don't feel like, because I'm not following in these direct footsteps, I'm not successful, and that really torments and really knocks some people off their track. So I really appreciate your transparency with coming on here and saying like, hey, I didn't fit the mode. I couldn't follow the coaching I received, but it was not because it was something wrong with you. It's because you had something special to offer. And I see that because I'm just listening to the words that you're saying. I'm like, wow, you get it. You get it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. That's the beauty of it. It's really your journey, your life journey. You discover so much about yourself when you decide to have, run a manage people as a CEO or run your business. It's a personal journey first, because
Oh,
who you are being doing all those things is so important. It's so important because how do you feel about yourself? What do you think? And how are you showing up? Are you really being you? Because the reason why your organization decided to make you the CEO, or the reason why, people first bought from you as a business owner, it's not really because about what you're selling or what you're performing as in the company for them to decide to make you the CEO or whatever. It's not about that. Short little story. When I became a manager at that job at the airport, I barely had 1 year in that company. It didn't make any sense. It made zero sense for me to become the manager. Do you think I was working harder than the other people that were there before me? I don't think so. I wasn't smarter than them. I don't think so. They were
wow.
smart people. They were hardworking, because it's not really, you have to get clear on that. Who are you being? It's so important. It's not really about how hard you work, how smart you are. We all are in our way. So quit that. Stop trying that hard to impress. Start being you more.
Love that. I love that. And I really, so from interviewing, several business owners over the past, so you're number 21, right? And what I've learned, I've just done some observing, and it's like a lot of my guests, they did not go to school for business. And I'm a business major. So it amazes me how so many people became successful entrepreneurs based off of just experience, trusting in themselves, and listening to their vision. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
that is what I'm noticing. It is not the degrees, it is not the certifications that are making people successful. And I really admire your journey, and just knowing that you left, and your story is very interesting from most. You said, I had a great job. I enjoy my coworkers. I enjoy my bosses. I actually wasn't in a bad position. I just like felt inside of me that I can do something different. And
Yeah.
that's, it's like, how did you make that transition into stepping out of security? You stepped out of a secure job to pursue entrepreneurship in a good circumstance. You didn't leave on bad terms.
Girl. Girl, that's a
Yeah,
story.
I love it. I felt that.
Because there was a lot of cries in between. A lot of cries. Like, it was crazy.
I get
When
it.
when I knew that the fire within me, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I tried, like, again, it's so easy. The world is so loud out there. So easy to know what you should do, never what you really want to do. So I tried to do the heights hustle thing, right? Do my business on the side and still working
That's what
until
I'm doing right now. So
until
you
I'm able to. Yeah,
balancing all the things.
it's everybody's journey. You have to know your path. That's the key here. It wasn't my path. So many people share that that's what they did until their side hustle became their main source of income. That was their path. So I
Yes.
tried to follow their path, but I knew it wasn't for me. And
Yeah.
then that little voice will be like, Christelle, this is not working. This is not for you. You have to jump, full jump, and just see the context here. I'm a foreigner. I'm from Cameroon, as I mentioned. I moved in here for almost 5 years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah, I have no family here that, okay,
Wow.
if I fail, I'm gonna go stay in my mother's basement or sleep on my sister's couch. I didn't have that option. So it was the craziest thing ever.
You're
First of all,
dry.
it was a big accomplishment for me to be where I was, because when I
Right.
moved in here, I barely spoke English when I moved in here. So for me to be where I was in life at that point, it was a miracle.
Amazing.
It was such a big accomplishment that it was the craziest thing ever to even think that I would quit that, right?
Wow.
So, but I knew, because as I said, we are just afraid. Sometimes when people tell me, but I don't know, I tell you no. I don't know conversation. It's just your brain trying to keep
You know, you're just scared to do it.
Yeah, it's your brain trying to keep you safe, because if you know, you have no excuse to not do it. So it's safe to say I don't know. So I went to my direct manager and then I said, listen, I'm, pursuing this new path in my life and I want to quit. He listened to me, and then at the end he was like, you're not leaving, right? I'm like, I am. He said, no, you're not. You're the manager. Figure it out, make it work, play with the hours. I don't care. You stay. You figure out your
Whatever
business.
you want, we'll keep you. Just don't
I
go.
don't care. I'm quitting. That's it. End of the conversation. So I was like, so it was kind of safe for me, because okay, the universe or God or whatever is leading me to quit, we see that I tried. It's not that I didn't try. So he said no. I was like, okay, I'm relieved. I still have my paycheck. And I don't look crazy. I don't have to tell my sister, which is in Canada, call almost every day. I don't have to tell her that I quit that. She will be like, do we need to pray for you? So I stayed for a few months, like 2 more months, but it was getting harder and harder. That's what happens when you're not in alignment. The same job became so heavy on me when before I never felt that.
And it just like it became like too much. You were like,
Exactly.
no, I have to go. So it started pushing you out the door.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so I said, okay. I told my supervisors again, okay, this is it. I'm going. They're like, no, you're not doing that. Anyways, I sent the email to HR, shaking. I remember before I made the decision to go send the email to HR, because I knew my manager what he was going to say, right? So I said, let me just, because when you send the email to HR,
it's done. It's done.
There's no lie. So she cannot ignore that. That's an email.
Exactly.
Anyway, before that, I remember being in my previous apartment and asking to myself, what is wrong with you, Christelle? And I sat on the edge of my couch and started crying so bad. Crying like a baby, just asking, what is wrong with you? Why can't you just be satisfied? Why can't you just be there and just live your life? Why are you trying to do this to yourself? What is wrong with you? And I was crying and asking, are you crazy? What are you even thinking? But after I finished crying like that, wiped my eyes and I said, I'm doing it.
Wow.
It's crazy, but I'm doing it. So I went to that office that day, and I remember one of the supervisors was standing behind me, like, Christelle, you're not sending that email. I said, I am sending that email. And I was shaking. When I hit send, I was shaking, like, this is it. There is no go back. That's it. So the HR called me in her office, and she also tried to talk me out of the idea. And then she was so supportive that's why I said I had a great job. It wasn't really like I hated anything about it. So she tried to make it work for me. She said, okay, I get it. I feel like you really want to do this. So how about I give you a leave of absence, like few months, to go set things up for your business. And then when things are running like kind of smoothly, you come back. I said, yes.
So it was still that connection. You wanted to break the entire tie, and your current job was like, okay, go start your business, and we're going to be here when you get settled so you can come back still.
Exactly. So again, we that's why I love sharing this, because we are all human beings. It's not because I'm talking here, going to be, she got it. I don't. I go through that journey myself. And I step into my people pleasing person. And then I said yes. Even though I knew I didn't have any intention really to come back. And hopefully I will not be forced to come back because I screwed up. But I didn't want to make her feel bad. I was like, oh, she loves me so much. She supports me. She's really trying her best to make it work for me. So I said, yes, let's do it. So she said, okay, I'm talking to the president and the vice president, I'll get back to you. She came back with a great deal. Okay, come back in January 2020. And then I said, okay. And believe me, I tried so hard to make it work. And I was in a business program, doing all the things, working my tail off.
Wow.
0 clients, 0 to January. In January, I had to make a decision. Do I go back?
What was the time between, so you start, how many months was that when you weren't making any clients?
So before even quitting, I had started like um 5 months before.
Okay, so this is 5 months. Really
yeah, and then when I quit, she gave me 3 months.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say I was already like 8 months in the business and zero
Wow.
client, right? So now I'm at the last bridge. I'm quitting, and if I say I'm not going back, how am I going to leave? I don't have any client yet. Doesn't make any sense. But then again in January, I started thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? If I send her the email that I'm not coming back, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my coach? Because I have a coach. How am I going to pay her? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to? It got into my head again. My brain was trying to keep me safe. Don't do this, Christelle. This is ridiculous. Don't do this.
Yeah.
And you have nowhere to go. Say, oh, I'm going to stay in my mom's basement. No, it's not. You're in America, you're in Cameroon, or in Canada, or in France. Nobody here for you. You can't rely. You cannot fail and say, okay, I'm going to go there and start from scratch. It's not what's happening for you. That's not the scenario for you. What do I do? But I knew again. I just knew that this is it. I have to leave. I have to do this. I have to go full on. So I sent the email and that was it. So she had to go. She said, okay, I respect that. But anytime you feel like coming back, the doors are open. But now what is good, that's why I talk about magic. The magic that happens when you listen, you trust yourself to do crazy things. That same week, I landed my first client.
Woo!
Same week, after trying so hard for so many months.
Oh my gosh.
The week I finally cut all the bridges. And again, it's my story, it's my path.
That is so admirable. That is amazing.
Yeah. So that was it. So it was like a confirmation that, girl, this is what you have to do more. Trust yourself more. Listen to yourself more. Don't get into your head. It's the job of our brain to protect us, to keep us safe.
Yeah.
There is a magical piece in us that is taking us somewhere. It sounds crazy sometimes. Doesn't make sense a lot of times. But it's a beautiful place if we just follow.
I absolutely love that. Your message, and it's almost like your life directly aligns to the business that you're doing and your entire message. So, you're coaching and teaching people how to be aligned with their vision and with purpose. That's you. You're living it. It's not like you're coaching about something you haven't lived yourself. And it's like your discipline and your devotion to what you're doing is just so powerful, because I know how much courage it takes to step out on an idea and what do people think and all this kind of stuff. And I love how you say, like, hey, this is me and this is people. Like, I don't care. I don't care what they think. I'm gonna do it my way. And I think that if so many people knew and understood that message, we would see a lot more entrepreneurs in this world, because a lot of people stop because they're like, it hasn't been done this way. I'm not doing it how Oprah did it. I'm not doing it how Steve Jobs did it. And, you're basically saying, listen to your own vision.
And it's a pain. And that's why it's so strong into my heart, because I believe we really, whatever we do in this life actually is just a journey back within to remember who we are and who we came here to be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows your script. You do.
Yes.
You just have to remember it. And it's painful because when people are so afraid of what are people going to say, they are missing out on something really powerful, because the thing within you that is leading you somewhere is leading you to a magical place. If you just can trust yourself, if you just can listen to yourself for a second. I know it's hard, especially for women. Again, we are in a society that doesn't make us feel good. You cry, don't be a crying baby. They even have a name for people that cry, don't be a P, because it's so horrible to have emotions, and women are emotional beings.
We are, right?
Yeah, so the whole world makes you feel bad, and so all of a sudden you're trying to be strong, you start to have it all together, when within sometimes there is something going on and you don't even know what to do with it. You try to ignore it. And that's why the lockdown or the pandemic was kind of a blessing in disguise to force people sometimes to stop.
It forced
Keeping
people
yourself busy, avoid, keeps you away from listening to that crazy, magical energy within you,
The idea
telling
in
you,
your mind.
yeah, telling you, hey, let's do this. This is what we
Because
came
you
to
have so much
do.
going on every day. I completely agree with you. This pandemic was a blessing to many. You finally had that time to sit down and deal with yourself, listen to yourself, fix yourself, build yourself up. And it's like, it almost ties into entrepreneurship and the freedom to be able to develop the lifestyle you want, right? Because most people are working 9 to 5s and you don't even have time to take care of yourself. That really opened my eyes to see, as much as you put into a business, when do you actually have time to take care of yourself and your family and have the opportunity to step out on entrepreneurship, because you can't even think. You're so worried about what you have to do for work every day, So
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I love entrepreneurs, because they are really trying to create something. And
yeah,
we are all creators. We are all creators. Don't get me wrong. Some employees, we need employees, right?
yeah,
So where there is no business if there is no team to run the business.
absolutely. They're just as critical.
But you have to make sure you are really where you want to be. Every time you want to justify the choices you are making, question it. Question it. Every time you enter the conversation of, I don't have a choice, I have this, I have that, question it. If I had a choice, what would I do?
Yeah,
And if the answer is different from what you're doing right now, maybe it's time to do the crazy thing.
that's
Because
so
that's where the magic lies. The life, everybody want a happy, beautiful life. We all want that. We are human beings. So
yes,
what does that look like for you? Again, success, what does that look like for you? Happiness, define it. Your business, you created it. It's a creation of yours. Some people call it, my business is my baby. It's your creation. You had something that you wanted to bring into the world. What is that something? Do you really feel, when you sit back today and you look at it, do you feel like it looks like what you really want? If not, what do you want, and how does it look like in your mind? Just create that. You are the creator. We are magical beings. We are here to create. Let's
yeah,
create that. Let's step
yeah.
into that magic.
I love that. So you do have a coaching business, and I think that's super admirable. From woman to woman, I support you. I think you're a great representation. It's like your drive is impeccable. So I'm pretty sure any clients that you work with, you are going to get them in the right direction. So can you kind of like explain your service and what you offer for anyone that may listen to this video or maybe listening, if they want to connect with you? What do you offer, and what's your goal for your clients?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your support, Deborah. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, so what I do with my clients is basically helping them reconnect with the magic within them. As I was saying that over and over again, we have magic within us and we can create basically anything. Anything. And I love working with female coaches because I want them to remember that it doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. It shouldn't.
Right.
It shouldn't. So I help them. I have a session where I just help them reconnect with what they really want, go back within and finding that clear vision of theirs, not the vision they created from their brain of, this is what I should aim for. Because they tell you, when you start a business, the first 3 years, this is what you can expect, and from the fourth year, forget about all of that. What it is that you really want. So I help them step back into that power of owning what they want. And from that place, they find the answers of how to bridge the gap from where they are right now, what makes their business feel so heavy. They feel like, why is it not working? Why am I trying so hard? To actually seeing it happen like magic. As I mentioned, I thought in February of becoming a speaker. In less than a month, I was already booked to speak on stage. It's
That's
magical.
beautiful.
I'm telling you, it's really magical. You
Beautiful.
will not believe the things that can happen when you reconnect with that magical part of yourself. So I really take them into that journey of remembering what they really want, owning it, and showing up, because from that place you have the answers. This is my next move. You will see the next Facebook post that will, you will feel it. And it's really connecting with yourself, trusting with yourself, trusting yourself again, being able. That's what I teach them how to do. Empower them, because I don't want to be holding your hand. I want you to know how to find the answers within yourself, right? So how do you know this is not my brain trying to talk me out of something? How do you listen to yourself every time maybe you hear somebody, you see something? How do you know this is my next aligned move? How do you trust yourself enough to not get into conversation, but I cannot afford it, but I don't have the money for it, but what if it doesn't work? How do you do it afraid? So that's the journey I take them through. And when you see clearly the next aligned action you have to take, I should help you do it afraid over and over again, because that's where confidence comes from. And when you rebuild that relationship of trust with yourself, reconnect with the magic within you, magic starts happening in your business.
I absolutely love that. Do afraid. I think that should just be a mantra. Like for any entrepreneur, do it afraid. That sick feeling in your gut is probably the next step that's going to open massive doors. And it just means that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. So I love that you work with people and you encourage them to basically live fearlessly in the business realm. And that is what makes people successful. And I absolutely love that. So before we get off the line, if there's anything else that you want to say to business leaders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs that are attempting to align to their vision and their purpose, if you have any advice, please share.
So what I will just share is that if it doesn't feel good to you right now, or if it sounds confusing, just take the time to really remember what you really want. And if what you want looks completely different from what you are doing right now, own it, right? Own it. It's never too late to shift. It's never too late. You don't have to keep doing it because you're afraid of what people are going to say. People do not care.
You're absolutely right.
Nobody cares. It's your life. It's your journey. It's your business. It's your team. Whatever it is, it's yours. And people will always follow you wherever you are going, wherever you are taking them. When they know, you know exactly where you are going. That's leadership. And it takes leadership to run a business, personal leadership, to be able to lead yourself through those paths that sometimes are scary. It takes leadership to take your team where you want them to go. You have to lead yourself. It means being okay to sometimes be like, hey, I was just doing that because I saw Deborah do the same thing. Own it. Because I know it's hard to recognize that, hey, this is not my path. Let me do something different. We are always, what are people going to say? I'm going to look, you're not going to look anything. You're going to look like a strong leader. That owns it. That's open enough to recognize that, hey, I lost my vision for a second, but now let's go back. Let's do it now this way, because this is it. So that's my best advice. Don't be afraid. Every time you find yourself, you reconnect with the truth within you, never be afraid to share it. Never be afraid to show it, because that's all people are waiting from you. They are not buying from you. They are not working for you because you are the smartest one in the room. They are doing so because you are the real leader of yourself and the leader they can follow. Trust yourself more.
I love that. I think those are great words of wisdom. So I just want to thank you so much for your time, for waking up early. You're on the West Coast, and it's a challenge for me to get on here at 11 a.m. Eastern. So I really
appreciate me at a.m. in the morning.
And you're fabulous to be up this early. I commend you on that. And I just wanted to say, we talked back in July, and it is now almost into September, and we instant connection. So, I appreciate that, and I appreciate what you share with the audience and clients, potential clients for Christelle. If you want to reach out to her, just contact her directly. Her social media handles are attached to this post, and she's also, her Facebook is tagged on here too. So don't hesitate to reach out to her. So thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Deborah, for having me. Thank you so much.
So you guys have a great morning. This is Business Solution Saturdays with Deborah R. Nelson, and I will see you next week with another business solution. Have a great day. Bye.